It's a little too late to say you're sorry now. When I was down, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. With those fucked up camera angles, no more. Fuck you. Fuck everybody at Four Corner Studio. Fuck your edit. You know what? It's mostly just fuck you. Because you do the editing. You pick the camera angles. You could have cut that out. You could have gone and cut my face or blurred out my face.
Oh, you're talking about
you wanted me to look like
you're
a
talking
battle,
you're talking about your lifestyle
shaded
choices.
ball sack.
Listen,
so all of
we
America
talked about this, man. It's not me.
You see
you're
that I
mad at.
gained about 60 pounds in the last
You're
2
mad
years.
at your barber.
Fuck you.
You're mad at your barber. Hey, when the tip line came, when you got the receipt, you should have wrote "do better," and that's his fault and your fault. I mean, you had to do that one. But I really got to talk about. I mean, like you, George Bush, and probably and I would say
did you just use me and George Bush in the same sentence?
I gotta think Roger. No, not Roger Goodell because he's
Careful
not.
now.
I might say we're gonna say Gary Bateman because he's recently on my mind, the NHL commissioner.
Stiff, got a hard dick, so stick it in.
You are in the list of hypocrites. I understand that you personally. We go from Poopy Day song, we go to these quirky ass songs, and then all of a sudden my man hits me with an Eminem and Lil Wayne song, No Love. I'm like, come on, man. That's more mainstream than brother.
You haven't heard that song before.
If you give me Eminem and Lil Wayne, probably the two most influential rappers in the 20. I mean, yeah. What are we talking? I'm talking about in the 2000s to now to like 2010. Then it was like Drake and Future and all those guys. But
are you sure?
Who else would you put on that list?
Paul Wall at the time? Let me see your grills. Your what? Yeah.
I'm talking about the masses, not Hallway 400 back in Stonebridge.
Who made chicken noodle soup? With a soda on the side.
Like I said, Paul Wall, legend of the game. To people in Hallway 400 in Stonebridge High School. Outside of Stonebridge High School, Hallway 400, Paul Wall is not top 10.
That's a deep cut, huh? You're in there with the deep cut.
I mean, hey, bro, I was in that hallway. I had a locker. There might have been, we might be saying sitting sideways, boys in the, all that shit.
Sitting sideways, boys in the crib.
Let me see.
I'm just doing the song, by the way. You can't get me with audio black.
It's a Mr. Paul Wall.
And it was Paul Wall, so yeah. Let me see your what? The segment's done. But yeah, listen, I don't think that's a mainstream song at all. I completely disagree. I think there was much heavier influences at the time. So I don't know what you could be referring to. I'm staying independent. I'm staying off the cuff. I'm staying quirky. That's my brand. That's who I am. And also, apparently, I'm staying chunky, like I said in high school. Apparently, I'm still chunky boy for life. So
hey, listen,
everything's going according to plan.
A lot of people nowadays love dad bods. So there you go. There's room for you. There's room for you at the table.
Apparently not my ex, but everything's going fine.
I mean, exes are for a reason, right? I mean, you did a John Goodman thing and ate all the food.
Free therapy real quick, huh?
You ate the whole dinner before she got there, and all she left was the biscuits. I mean, that's just not you, man. I mean,
my man's got jokes today, huh?
I'm just here on a Friday enjoying. I don't even know what's on TV. I just put on some random shit. This is what happens when you get the sports package on YouTube. You get some YouTube TV. You get some shit that you have
women's basketball. Probably you got.
No, if you want me to be technical, Fighting Friday on. I don't even know this channel. This channel is probably not even in. This is probably one of those bootleg channels.
This is as interesting to me as the International Slap League or I guess it's not international, the United States Slap League. Couldn't care less because we probably had the best dish served to us over the weekend. That was WildCard weekend, dude. I nutted all over the place. I then cried. I then laughed. I then nutted again. I then had to go ahead and take a couple breathers, take a shower or two because I was losing pounds in sweat. We all know I need that. And boy, howdy, this was the best WildCard weekend. And don't you? I don't like that point. I didn't like that point.
You love that point.
weekend in a long recent memory for me.
So,
I say long, not even, take out the recent and a long memory for me. It was pretty spectacular. But before we get to any of that, there's more important news. We'll get to the best wild card weekend of all time, because a franchise is going to change for forever, Newt. And the next couple of weeks, a franchise is going to change for forever. And some may, have a feeling of what team I'm about to talk about. And some may be like, oh, Joe, you've already talked enough about the potential new ownership with that team. No. That's not what we're going to discuss with that team. And it is that team that you're thinking of. The Commanders will have, I don't care what Jim Harbaugh said earlier in the week. I don't care what every other single report has basically sent out. I don't care that they basically went ahead and said they're going to franchise tag Lamar. Lamar's not putting up with that bullshit, because Lamar is coming to DC in the 703, in the 202. This is how we do. Welcome, Lamar. You're coming to the right side of the DMV. He will be a Commander. That is my guarantee. I have never felt more confident about anything in this whole entire show. You teased it last week. I didn't want to get too excited. I am way too excited now. I have nutted 3 times since this show started. Lamar Jackson. Say it with me. Say it with me, dude. Nice and slow. Nice and slow.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Together now. 1, 2, 3. Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Will be. A. Washington.
Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders.
I didn't like the confidence. You faded on me.
So do you want me to be? Because you asked me.
Commander.
You asked me. Okay, you asked me before the show. You said
no. I know. I didn't have to ask you.
No, you asked me, so I'm gonna give you my answer. So, do I want Lamar out of Baltimore?
I don't remember asking.
You asked me, and here's the deal. I want him to leave so fucking bad. I mean, I want to say he's the 3rd best quarterback, 4th best quarterback, 5th best quarterback, probably 4th. I'll go 4. 4th best quarterback in the league, because you can't beat the top 3. You can't beat Mahomes, you can't beat Allen, you can't beat Burrow. What they've done, Burrow.
I would say Lamar's still in that class.
He's in the class. I'm not saying.
He's in that class.
I mean, he's in the class, and there's 2 other guys in that class, Hurts and Herbert. But I digress. You can say what you want about the other 2. I know a lot of people hate Herbert. I hate Herbert for many reasons.
That's not the one I was thinking too. But,
well, I mean, yes, I know which one you're. But hey, it's a Philly thing. Let's just say this. Let's just say this. So he said 200%. I can also say I am 200% sure that I can run out of Ruth Chris, but it's not going to happen. I can say whatever.
You have been watching the Pat Bev podcast, finally.
What?
You have been watching the Pat Bev podcast, finally.
No, I'm just being honest. I have not, but I'm just saying.
That was just for me and dude. Don't worry about that part, people. Unless you are watching that great show.
Me personally, I was like, this is the most coach speak of all time, because yes, they're going to negotiate. They're going to talk to him. They're going to do all these things. I mean, a lot of the times when people negotiate contracts, they say like, hey, we want to get it done. Of course you want to get it done. How is it going to get it done? Well, it's not going to be done because you guys didn't talk about it already for the longest time. All of a sudden, you're going to switch up and give him the guaranteed money you say no to. Plus, if they pay him, right? If they pay him.
Yeah.
What is the thing that he's missing the most? A wide receiver. He's still going to throw to fucking Devin Duvernay and fucking Deshaun Jackson for 3 games, and then he gets hurt because they're not going to have any money. Everybody's like, oh, trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, go trade for Devontae Adams if he wants out. What are you going to – I mean, you're going to trade him, sure, but you're going to take 2 big contracts plus the already big contract that you already gave Roquan Smith from when you traded for him. So what's left? You're going to have to trade away Humphreys. You're going to have to trade away Marcus Peters. J.K. Dobbins is going to come up. That's probably not a big deal for them because they can plug whatever running back they want back there. But that's the reasoning for that is because of the offensive line. Ronnie Staley needs to get paid. Their new center, Tyler Lindenbaum, he's going to come up soon. Let's not forget the tight end wonder, Mark Andrews. All these different things. If you want to pay Lamar Jackson, please do. But ask the Packers how it went when they paid Aaron Rodgers. Ask the Falcons when they paid fucking Matt Ryan. Julio left.
There's plenty of examples out there on the field.
There's only two teams that I think, and then here's just my final point with this, and you can go. If he does get traded, there is two teams that I think will go for him heavy, and it's you guys, and I hate to say it, the team that is literally a quarterback away, the New York Jets. Go ahead.
I would say they still got a quarterback they need to believe and trust in for a couple more years over there, who's staying hard and loyal to the church and all moms out there and the game. So I wouldn't say the Jets are a quarterback away. I would say they're just a little bit of development away. In terms of Lamar, bit aside, I really don't see us having this stuff to go after him heavy. I mean, let's look at the past and see where our situation has changed to make it a more desirable place. The only thing that makes it desirable for Lamar, before I go off on this little rant, is the wide receiver core, right? Is the wide receiver core, and we have a running game, and you got to feel pretty good about the defense. Like the team, he is also that missing piece for us. He is 100% that missing piece, almost as much as the Jets. Although again, they don't have a missing piece; they're good to go. But I outside of that, the team structure and all that, there's the baggage that we bring the bags that we have when you come to this team, and that's the Snyder of it all. That's starting to be kind of the ugly head of Rivera of it all, in my opinion, with kind of sacrificing his ego for the playoffs this past season. Say what you will, that's the way I saw it. I don't see this as a desirable place for a quarterback in terms of they feel comfortable of the future of their franchise when coming to the Commanders. As much as I want him, as much as I love certain other podcasts that are competition of ours joking around that he would come and posting pictures with the Commanders jersey on, that was all great and dandy. But, once the bit and the curtain gets pulled, nude, I like to be serious on this show, and I unfortunately don't see it happening. So that makes me feel like you could see him over there and learning from Zach Wilson. I honestly think at the end of the day, he's probably going to still be a Raven. You poked a lot of bears, and you would love to see him go personally, I know. But I think he's going to end up a Raven and continue to torture you, and we'll never actually know your true love for Lamar.
I will say this. If anything...
We going to come a little clean? Just tell us what you know.
If anything, this is what's going to happen. They're going to do a franchise tag thing. They're going to do a Kirk Cousins thing like you guys did. And they're just going to see what happens. If he gets injured again or he doesn't win a playoff game. Because let's be honest, the dude only has one playoff win in how many years. So let's not act like this guy is some magician. No.
Bro, he's basically, like you said it, he's had no wide receiving core. He's basically had
what's Patrick Mahomes doing right now? He's in the fucking playoffs. I'm just being honest. I'm just saying. Oh my God. And then Lamar and Mark Andrews is chopped liver.
I'm not saying he's chopped liver, but he's no Travis Kelce.
Stop it, man. Like, this is what I'm saying. Why are we making excuses for guys like this? Why are we making an excuse? Why are we making an excuse? Why are we making an excuse for Lamar when fucking literally Patrick Mahomes had one guy do one thing, and that was Tyreek Hill, and we're all like, he sucks, he's gonna suck, and he's the best quarterback in football. And let's go to Josh Allen. That guy is insane. That guy might as well be fucking trucks on wheels.
There's a guy named Diggs that he has on his team.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say too. It's like, this is what I'm saying. If you want Lamar to stay, you needed a wide receiver. You didn't do that. You're not going to pay him the money that you think he deserves, and you're not going to get a DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sorry, that's just not how that works. You are not going to pay that because when the Bengals are going to eventually do is pay Joe Burrow the highest paid quarterback contract for sure, and Jamar Chase for sure the highest paid wide receiver contract. After that, you're going to watch him get dismantled. That's why they're trying to win right now, because they're going to absolutely get decimated with players like they're not going to pay T. Higgins. They're not going to pay their linemen, who they already suck. Joe Mixon's probably going to be out the door. And that's where you come in and be a good team. It's like, if you know.
Linemen anyway, but yeah.
No, but their linemen suck. And that's the thing is like, but you need to fix it. What you're going to do, you got to be good at drafting at that point. So at the end of the day, I don't know. We'll see. Next topic, because I can talk years about Lamar in this contract.
We both could, and we won't dive too deep into it. Last point for me, and we will move on, is, I mean, he's going to get franchise tag. This is a Kirk Cousins circa 2015, 2016 situation. He's going to, or 2014, 2015 situation. He's going to get franchise tag, and it may be that like twice, just like Kirk. At the end of the day, there's not much Lamar can really do about that.
There's no strings. It's either he's gonna hold out like Le'Veon, or they're gonna have to do a contract. I mean, that's just how it is. Le'Veon didn't want to play on the franchise tag because he's like, there's no guaranteed money in this, and if I get hurt, fuck it. And look what happened to him. And I think that's what he's basically saying too. Is just like, bro, if you're not gonna pay me, and I've done all this for you, then what the fuck? Then what the fuck are we gonna do? You know? So
yeah, you're right. I mean, there's in the new NFL, there's a 100% chance that he doesn't want to play under that franchise tag, and he likely won't. But that doesn't mean he's outside of it. We'll see. It's definitely a wait and see. Dream scenario, perfect scenario. Obviously, comes the Commanders. We can get Nude's true thoughts that he does in fact think he is the best quarterback in the league. And
I said it. I already said it. I said if he goes anywhere else, he is questionable, like arguably 4.
Yeah, again, he's definitely already in that conversation regardless. And I believe
next topic. I feel like
number one worthy discussion. But
next,
who is not number one, who has absolutely dropped the ball, been an embarrassment for a lot of people, especially Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Brian Leftwich is gone. He is out. You could also argue he's dealing with a decaying Tom Brady. But he is fired, and the main question on everybody's mind is not who's going to be the new OC, unless you are somebody that, again, works at another company, but instead on everybody's mind is, where will Tom Brady go? I don't really give a shit. I don't think it really matters. I think that he's shown his true colors, what he's got left. I think he should have stayed retired, but that is a cliche, easy opinion. Nude, fire away.
So here's what I'm going to say. I don't care either, because at the end of the day, this is just song and dance. If he wants to go to another team, if he wants to retire, if he wants to come back as a Buccaneer, I don't care. At this point, it's kind of like Wizards Jordan, where you're like, cool, he's playing, whatever, get your points, get whatever. I think he has every record in the book at this point, so I don't know what he's playing for. But hey, man's divorced. Divorced guys need hobbies. This is his hobby, so.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not like he's going to pick up another golfing anytime soon. This man's going to be playing.
Oh, no.
Any loose theory where he's going to end up? Just for
if anything, I've heard wherever Sean Payton goes. That's what I heard. So, but Sean Payton, let's.
What if he goes to the Broncos? You're still dealing with the cancer of Russell Wilson.
If Sean Payton goes to a team that needs a quarterback, he'll go. So say Sean Payton goes to the Panthers. I think he can be a Panther. If Sean Payton goes to
Tom Brady's not living in the Carolinas. Get out of here.
But let's be honest, the whole theory of like him on the shop, it's like you're going with that motherfucker. Apparently that was to Derek Carr.
Right.
So he could be a Raider. He could be, I mean, at this point, would you trust Brock Purdy or Trey Lance? He could be a 49er. He could be a Dolphin.
Brock Purdy's looking like a franchise quarterback.
He looks great, and I'm not taking anything away from him.
He's looking like a franchise quarterback.
He just looks like the quarterback that's good enough to win a Super Bowl with a system that is absolutely insane. Like Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson, when they won their Super Bowls, he's good enough. But I'm going to say this: if there is a team and he has to leave Tampa Bay, I'm just going to pick the Raiders just because Josh McDaniels.
Miami. There was talk that that's where he wanted to go originally as well. So we'll
great weapons.
Yeah. And in my opinion, a great head coach.
You want a hot take too?
Give it to me.
Because you said Brian Leftwich. Brian Leftwich will be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Woo! Is that in your fantasies, or that's something you feel good about?
So
always joking.
Let's just get into it now. Let's get into it now. The worst day of my life. Matt Canada coming back as the OC for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fucking sucks. I ranted and I raved on Twitter. It's done. I'm done. It's whatever.
I just start checking out your Twitter. I never look at it.
It's done. It's done. I said what I had to say. They're retarded. I'll cut that out. There you go. They are dumb. They are dumb for bringing him back. And what they should do is get Brian Leftwich in there to be a passing game coordinator. Passing game coordinator to help fix everything. And that's what they did with Brian Flores. Get him back on his feet and then enjoy yourself. That is all I will say. What was that
you're saying about vaccines making everybody sick again?
Go ahead. Next. No, don't start. Dog. Seriously,
what did you say? Kanye
I got into a wormhole. Go ahead.
Why you said fuck participation trophies and Kanye had a point?
Shut the fuck up. Go next.
Let's go to the best wild card weekend ever. We kind of slid our toes in the pool a little bit, dipped our toes in the pool. Let's fully dive in now, Nude, in the deep end. I'm gonna kind of go somewhat in order.
Okay,
how
fine.
the wild card weekend went as we review these games. I'm gonna skip over.
Are you gonna go? You're gonna go with the worst one to the best one?
I believe we'll go power rankings. If you disagree with the power ranking at any point, as we're reviewing these games, as we kind of go through the list, obviously go ahead and chime in and say flip it and reverse it or whatever you feel. With that being said, I'm going to go, you know what? Yeah. If we're going to go ahead, we're going to start with the last game of the wild card weekend. That was, of course, Cowboys Buccaneers, final score 31-14. Some professional team beat the Buccaneers. They probably shouldn't have. What can you do? Tom Brady's 86 and basically playing on a decrepit, decaying skin and bones. So not much you can say there about that game. Anything to chime in, dude? Some team beat the Bucs.
All right. I guess I'll say it. Great performance by Dak Prescott. He threw 4 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. I mean, they looked really good. Defensively, they flustered Tom Brady, which wasn't hard.
I mean, you go 9 in the wild card round.
I'm not.
Decade. Yeah, you should probably finally win.
Let's listen to what I'm saying. I am not giving them any huge props for beating a losing team. That is a loser mentality. They beat the team they were supposed to beat the way they were supposed to beat them. Now, if they go in and beat the 49ers, you got to give them their props, major props, because that's
that won't happen.
But yeah, a lot of things don't happen. Because one of the games we're going to talk about should have never happened.
Bits to start the show. I wasn't sure about.
I'm just being honest. I mean, Dak looked good. The running game
incredible.
It's not like the Bucs defense is shit. The Bucs defense wasn't shit here. They came in, they took care of business, and that's it. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, congratulations
you can go
to that random team or whatever they're called. Good job.
If you want to go next, then go next, buddy.
Number five in the rankings of the weekend is going to go ahead, and that's going to be the 49ers Seahawks. In my opinion, are you still with me on my list?
Yeah.
Number 5. Just heat checking.
Well,
you're not a mayor, but I'm just heat checking.
I'm just going to let you put Cowboys last, but, go ahead.
No. What was your last?
This would be last, because 49ers absolutely destroyed them in the second half. Like, yeah, the first half was nice. Like, Gino came in hot.
The Cowboys dominated that whole game. They were never in it.
Yeah, but Gino came in and did, he got, 2 great passes. Awesome. And then the next thing that happens, the 49ers became the 49ers. Like, they were goofing. Like, do you think they were just goofing around?
Hawks were in it for a whole half. Bucs were in it for the first 5 minutes.
You could technically say the Bucs were kind of in it for a half because of the missed field goals too, the missed extra points. And if it takes one touchdown by Tom Brady, and the next thing you know, everybody in Dallas is choking on their hot dog. So it's like, what the fuck? And then you have 49ers over here with Brock Purdy, like we talked about. Brock Purdy's over here just going crazy, with Christian McCaffrey.
Hot dogs hard enough. You know what I'm saying?
Kittle is showing why he should be arguably number 2 tight end in the league again, because he's fucking amazing with fucking Brock Purdy all of a sudden. But they just look unstoppable. Like, that's just the thing, is they can mess around for a half and destroy you in the second.
If you watch that game though, If you watch both games side by side.
I know what you're saying. It's like at one point it was very close. It was 17-16. I think the Hawks were up by a point too. And
now it's still on the third quarter.
But after that, dude, they got shut out and they got destroyed 48-17.
At what point was the Buccaneers some random team game over to you? When was that over to you? Because that was over to you the moment Tom Brady threw that pick. Well,
in the end zone?
Yeah.
In the end zone? Nah. I think it was just a bad pick.
It looked like they were going to respond to that first touchdown. They didn't. Game over.
That's when you said, see, that's too early. Then we would have said 49ers were dead in the water when they were down 1.
No, but it's different, in my opinion. It's different game because we know what the 49ers.
I know what you're trying to say. Also, it's like the Tampa Bay is worse.
We know who the Bucs have been all season.
It's an argument. It's an argument. I just enjoyed watching the Cowboys game more than the 49ers game because even when the Hawks were up 1, I knew the 49ers were going to win. Like they were still going to fucking win. Like. The way that they didn't orchestrate some drives, I was like,
game the same way I feel about the Bucs game, and that's fine.
That's fine. I mean, I'm just move on because I think those were the two silliest. Those were the two boringest and silliest games. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So clearly, number 6 was the Cowboys Bucs. I mean, some random team in the Bucs, and then 5 was Seahawks 49ers. Again, like you already said, though, not much to cover here. It was close that first half, second half. 49ers did their thing. I mean, let's talk a little Brock, though, before we move on. A little Mr. Purdy. Everyone and their grandmother is dubbing him the next franchise quarterback. We can no longer call him third string. Apparently, he's already been crowned. But I like your point, and you kind of teased it earlier, of this is a system quarterback. This is a system gets. Kyle Shanahan has one of the best systems in the league right now. He has for quite some time. And Brock Purdy is running it quite well. I don't see. He's not a guy that you're going to go ahead and we're still going to be talking about 10 years from. That's
very big conversation. Very big conversation now. Like next year when Trey Lance is healthy, do you now give it back to Trey Lance or do you actually just like go? Don't answer now because like I don't even like I don't think they even know. Like
no, you're right. It's a toss up. It's a toss up,
and you gotta go from there. So
because you invested so much in Trey Lance, right? And Trey Lance,
I think that's the thing. That's the only reason why they go back. The only reason.
And that he does have a high ceiling. I think that me and you were particularly high on Trey Lance going into the season. I know I especially was.
He was.
Yeah. I mean, I was very excited about it. I drafted him 2 leagues. I mean, we know what happened. But you still got to see what you have in him. It's definitely going to be a quarterback controversy that ESPN's going to run all of August and September. But, yeah, I think it's a toss-up right now. It's really too soon to tell. I think if Brock does win a Super Bowl, then it's not even a conversation anymore at that point.
Oh, that's the only reason. Only one. Yeah. Only one. Even if he gets there and loses, Trey will go. Because Jimmy G took him, lost, and they drafted Trey. Anyways.
1,000,000,000%. All right, next up at number 4 is going to go ahead, and this is going to be Giants-Vikings.
Kirk, do you want me to go first? Because I'm going to give props to a team that you don't want to give props to. I don't know how run deep it is.
Much hate for the New York Giants. I will say their name, so there's not as much hate there.
I just think Daboll really is proving why he's a good coach.
Yeah,
why he's really
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah, and he just turned. I mean, like the way that their just offense is humming, and yes, we all knew Vikings were frauds, but for them to go in there and then Daniel Jones to being the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards and having at least 75 rushing yards when Lamar's been to the playoffs, Michael Vick's been to the playoffs, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, like he did stuff that they couldn't do, and it just shows how good Daboll is, how good Saquon was, how good that defense could be. I mean, Justin Jefferson killed him in that first drive. Then you saw nothing. And then it was just like Hawkinson doing his thing because they can't really cover the tight end. But credit to them. They went into a hostile environment, quote unquote, beat a fraud team because we both had the Giants. We were like, this is a fraud team. We think the Giants have enough, but is it really enough? And it was. Like he's throwing to guys like Hawkins or whatever the fuck and Bellinger or whatever. Like Yeah, I mean, great for him. Great for Daboll. And for the Vikings,
we're struggling with your receivers' names. That does say a lot. But I do want to get it right. Yeah, Isaiah Hodgins was getting thrown to Darius. We know Darius. Richie James has been okay this season. And then you have Daniel Bellinger and Lawrence Cager. By the way, Lawrence Cager is a 58 in Madden.
I love how that's what he did. But yeah, man, it's crazy, and just an awful ending of a season to a fraud team like the Vikings. Their defense is just absolutely putrid. I feel bad for Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins, as much as we like to rag on him, was good. I don't know. It's going to be a hard conversation next year because they were 13-3 or 13-4, whatever, and they couldn't get it done. But good for the Giants.
I'm going to give you probably the most cliche sports talk in all of sports talk. And that is, the guy just doesn't have it. He didn't play bad. Kirk Cousins didn't play bad. But for whatever reason, and it's, it's a cliche for a reason, right? And the reason this is a cliche, because we always go back to these big, huge moments, whether it's playoffs, whether it's a championship, and do you have the clutch factor? Do you have the KB factor, meaning the Kobe Bryant factor? Do you have that internal switch, the Tom Brady factor, that when the moment is on, for whatever reason, you're making that correct decision? Out of pure skill, out of self-awareness of the moment, you being able to handle the moment and not being too big for you. Kirk, unfortunately, it's one of the most longest-running cliches in sports about him as well right now. He doesn't have it when it matters most. It's that simple, and he showed it again. I mean, credit where credit's due. I'm totally willing to give credit to Daboll and the boys. I mean, Daboll obviously knows exactly how to get the most out of every single one of his players, like a coach I haven't seen in a long time. I'm extremely jealous of that. I'm not like that he would want to come coach for us anyway at this point, but I mean, making Daniel Jones look like arguably, at least in that game, the best quarterback of the weekend. In my opinion, Saquon Barkley, again, having a pretty solid, 107 total yards, 2 touchdowns. You're utilizing these guys. Another cliche we can finally get rid of that every sports journalist and podcast wants to say, the Kirk is a must. I don't know why this is my go-to voice for tropes and cliches.
I was about to say, yeah, it is your go-to voice.
It's just the corniest voice I can think of, I guess. But yeah, so credit where credit's due. Giants got it done. Kirk showed once again what he is. I feel bad, just as you do, for, in my opinion, the best receiver in the game right now, except for maybe Devontae. So, yeah, congratulations, Giants. Hats off. I do think it will be a good game, Birds versus Giants, this coming weekend. We'll get to that, but let's go ahead and get to my number 3 ranking instead. A game that, Nude, as I'm sure you can imagine, basically almost gave me a heart attack. Actually, you know what? Let me flip it and reverse it. I'm going to go to another game first because I think there's a play in that game that I was about to mention that makes it number 2. So I'm going to go to number 3. I'm going to choose what was going to be my original number 2 and make it number 3. That is Dolphins-Bills. Dolphins-Bills, for everyone that had the Bills spread, we gave you that lock. We're sorry. We apologize.
Who didn't? Dude, Skylar Thompson came out and did everything right. They did everything right. The Dolphins, to their credit, stopped Josh Allen. Whoever's calling. Okay, so now this is funny because
they stopped Josh Allen. Josh Allen and the Bills stopped themselves.
Bingo. So that's what I was getting at to. This is what I'm adding to that. It's like Ken Dorsey has been a crazy man this entire time, where he's just like, Diggs is down there, throw it. On 3rd and 1, I'm like, bro, you have the tools to gain it and then figure it out from there. Then he's just throwing 4 picks left and right, and I'm just like, bro, you're keeping them in the game. And it had to come down to that last-second bullshit where it was like a 4th and 1 and they got a false start. That's where the Dolphins fucked up too. It's like you got to delay a game when you reset the clock and you did nothing with it. It's like, bro, that's just mental like blocks that you need to fix as a team. And like credit to them for not playing Tua, but if Tua played, they would have won that game essentially.
They're in the divisional.
And we could talk about another game if a quarterback played, they would have won that game. But that like two contenders. My goodness, they almost got out.
Speaking of looking like the best, I mean, Skylar Thompson did not look like the best quarterback in the league, so let me slow my brakes there.
No, he He did enough. He did enough.
He did enough. He did go 18 for 45. I do think they should have ran the ball a little bit more on the Dolphins side. They were lucky enough to even be in this game. I do agree. Tua plays this game. Bills aren't playing this weekend. That's plain and simple. But yeah, the Bills, as you mentioned, shot themselves in the foot time and time again. It was questionable decisions that makes you a little bit worried. And I think this is both the reason why both of us didn't pick the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Because they show mistakes like this throughout the season. They've always shown mistakes like this through McDermott times. Like they just simply have. Where, yes, they look like, holy shit, this is the best team in the last 3 decades. This offense looks incredibly explosive, looks incredibly unstoppable. And then you flip the switch the next week, and they look more lost than, when the Skylar Thompson first made his debut. Like, it doesn't, they look more lost than the Dolphins did when he first made his debut. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it makes you kind of question and not feel confident with the Bills going forward. Yes, they have, a little bit of emotional inspiration kind of carrying their way in Lamar. But I just, for whatever reason, time and time again with this team, it's the inconsistency that will rear its ugly head that doesn't make you feel like they're someone that can win the Super Bowl.
But think about it this way, too. I was just thinking about this while I was sitting here. The Raiders almost beat the Bengals last year in the first round. And the Bengals went to go – and the Bengals almost lost to the Titans and almost lost to the Chiefs. And then this is why people love the NFL playoffs more than any other playoffs, because it's legit one and you're done. Because in the NBA, we've seen it. Teams lose by a buzzer beater, game 1, whatever, 1-0. You have NHL, MLB, all that shit. Like, when it's one and done, dude, it is fucking hard. And it's so hard because you don't have another week to fix it, another game to fix it. You fix it right there. So the Bills surviving makes sense in the point. But now and I'm assuming your second game is Bengals-Ravens, right?
Hmm.
So we could just jump right into it. When you're playing another team, you're another team who did the same fucking thing. It's like both of you now are on edge. We're going to probably see the high.
My Super Bowl pick, by the way, my heart skipped a fucking beat. If it wasn't for that, the greatest play maybe ever in a wild card.
In Bengals history, yes.
In Bengals history, 1,000%. It's in the conversation up there with an immaculate reception
oh my gosh.
It's up there. It is up there. Not to that level, but it is close. And that was, if not there, I'm paying you $100 on. I mean,
it just looked like both them, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, took it easy, or did things that they're normally not supposed to do. I don't know if it's offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know. But they underestimated both defenses, the Ravens and the Dolphins, who were pretty good. And they were just like, fuck it. We're going to just rely on our talent. And then the whole Huntley thing with the fumble. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. And then Greg Roman got fired. I mean, whatever. Everybody wanted him fired in Baltimore. So I don't know, man. I just think those two surviving this week was good for the NFL. Good for viewership, because nobody wants to really see Skylar Thompson against Huntley. Like, nobody actually wanted to see that. But now that we have Burrow against Allen and they both survived and they both understand maybe we can't do the same fucking shit again, we're going to have a great game, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I know we're not doing preview just yet, but yeah.
I agree with you. That is probably going to be the best game of the weekend, especially with the facts you just mentioned, especially when you get knocked down a little bit, you get a little bit of a wake-up call, and you are what you're supposed to be. And I think both Bengals and Bills will be that. In this game, though, yeah, if it wasn't for that 98-yard Sam Hubbard return for a touchdown, again, they like you mentioned, the Ravens win this game, and we have a Huntley we at least have Huntley in the divisional round. And it wasn't for a couple different things. We would also have Skyler in the divisional round. J.K. Dobbins, obviously, we've already said it a couple times, said that they would have won this game with Lamar. No fucking shit, obviously. You would have won this game with Lamar. And Huntley hasn't really done shit all season, was able to at least put up 17 points. So at least when he's playing, he hasn't really done shit all season. But that's simply why this game's at number 2 for me, is that 98-yard return. Besides that, I mean, it was a very typical AFC North game.
No, it was. And it's funny, so a lot of people talked about it. Burrow against other teams has been electric. But against the Steelers, the Browns, and the Ravens, awful. Just because it's just awful. I was just like, I was surprised by the numbers. My man hates those gritty divisional games. So it just goes to show, like, your division rivals will know you the best. And that's why I'm kind of intrigued by this Giants Eagles game coming up too. It's like, what are they going to do? So,
well, dude, and it's interesting too, because like I don't think the common fan always fully lets that click. Like my dad says to me, like, are the Bengals really that good? Because, how did the Ravens keep it so close? And that's just division rivals, man, especially in a playoff atmosphere. I don't care. Put any division rival against, or any interdivision team against their, another interdivision team, and it's going to usually be within one possession. I mean, obviously 49ers, Seahawks different, but it's especially in our 2 divisions, it's going to usually be within one possession.
Exactly.
But number 1 game by far, Nude. Obvious, everybody already knows where we're going. There's some people that after this game somehow, some way, maybe more impressive than that 31-point comeback, has a job as of this week. I don't understand that. We will get to that. But let's go ahead. Let's give flowers. Let's give credit for where credit's due. Let's bow down to the dude.
I'm
Miracle,
happy,
baby. And Trevor Lawrence. This is what he's been doing his whole career. This is what he's always done. This is what the Jags have been doing all season. But maybe this is the most grand scale they've done it at. And it was fucking unbelievable, but unbelievably sad to watch at the same time. Also, it's been talked about enough. We don't have to go over this too much, but I don't know why Coach and Al Michaels seemed to take Xanax before calling this game, but that was honestly an atrocity and a disrespect to what type of game this was and what this game will go down in history. Absolutely disgusting. And please go ahead and cut off their Xanax prescriptions if you're their doctors.
Oh, well, I'm just going to say this. The legend of Trevor Lawrence playing on Saturdays continues. Apparently, he's never lost a game on a Saturday. Never knew that.
All that fun fact as well, yep.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Well, I mean, and then the 2 TikToks that I've seen.
That is really insane.
The 2 TikToks that I saw about 2 guys falling asleep, different reactions to different things, and being woken up. One was a Chargers fan, thought they won. And then he's like, oh, shit, we lost. And he's just confused. One guy bet the Jaguars plus 2.5. Thought he lost that bet. Wakes up happy as fuck, won $1,200. So 2 different spectrums. Woo! Watching that game.
Yeah, Jags money line, thank God.
Watching that game and a guy throwing 4 interceptions and you lose, you say to yourself, what the fuck's the problem? Because what the fuck happened? Like, you were up 27-0. Dude threw 4 interceptions. You're like, Herbert didn't move the ball at all. You didn't use Keenan Allen at all. You didn't use Austin Eckler at all. Like, Brandon Staley still has a job out of his asshole, which I just, like you said, I don't understand either. But they fired everybody else. It's like, is Brandon Staley not calling things? Is Brandon Staley not the guy who is he just a leader of men? Like, he just doesn't give a shit. Like, and he just blames everybody else. And Herbert, this is why Herbert's arguably 5, 6 best quarterback in the NFL, not top 3 with Allen and Mahomes. If you don't like plays, if you don't like situations, change out of it. Change out of it. And then you have Joey Bosa also over here, one of your leaders, talking about the refs and how he said something to the ref and the ref got him. And like the Joey Bosa way. If you haven't seen that, go watch it because it's literally the most.
He shot himself in the foot.
The most Joey Bosa fucking answer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Control your shit, bro.
Dude, you're a captain on the team. You're probably the second best defender on the team behind Derwin James. and they're looking for you for plays and things to be like, you gave them a free play, dude. And then let's be honest, the worst commentary of all time, like Al Michaels and Tony Dungy's were gonna pass out. And that,
it's like they came to the basement, dude, and smoked with me for like an hour.
Dude, they were all just annoying. It was just like annoyingly great. Like, it was an annoyingly great game because of all that situation, like a comeback. The Chargers were just so stupid, and then the commentary is so bad. It's just like, cannot.
Dungy should have never. I don't know who was sick or what happened that they couldn't.
They need to make an hour movie. They need to make an hour documentary on that game, like just solely on that game of why it was just so badly good that you can't stop watching it. You can't, like, I'm going to show that clip to everyone where I'm in the middle of the streets of DC where I'm just yelling Duval because I just won a bet that I should have never won, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Does Al Michaels not care anymore? Does he just not give a shit? Like, he knows.
No, he's just. I don't know. First of all, I don't even know what Al Michaels was doing in the first place. You know what I mean? It's just like, why are you back at NBC and you're not doing it with your pal, Chris Collinsworth? Like, but.
And there's some weird, funky stuff because I don't think they've really called a game together all season, have they?
What? No, because Al Michaels went to Prime.
Right.
Al Michaels went to Prime Video.
So I think there's something weird that happened there. Money just talks, whatever it is. And then now he seems completely disheartened with his profession. Like, he hasn't really called a great game all year. Like, he hasn't seemed to give a shit all year. Those Thursday night football games were awfully called all year. So I don't understand that. The 27-0 thing, just quick, kind of the way I look at it is, do you remember those like 90s like Batman movies and like, Two-Face would just go on a soliloquy for like, 10 minutes, and then during that soliloquy, that's when Batman went ahead and figured out how to get out of it and went in seemingly impossible situation and saved the day, and he saves both, Robin and his girl at the time. Like, that's exactly what the Chargers did. They went on a villain soliloquy. They didn't care. They were already smoking their cigars. You had people tweeting out tickets, this, that, and the third. And all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence, Batman, came to save the day. And it just seemed like the Chargers expected it. It seemed like I had a weird feeling the first touchdown the Jaguars scored that it was over. I mean, it just seemed like the most Chargers-like thing to do, and they shot themselves in the foot. They were lackadaisical. They turned into zombie mode. They took whatever the hell Al Michaels and Dungy took before the game at half, and it was historically bad, but also awfully awesome. As the crew I used to run with back in high school used to always say, it was just an awfully awesome game. And I agree with you. I need a 8-part series on just the insides to this game, what was going on behind the scenes. I need, the booth perspective. I need the people that got the booth together's perspective. I need the Chargers. I need the Jags perspectives. I need all of it. I mean, what a beautifully batshit, impossibly awful, insanely wonderful game.
Yep. Well, I enjoyed all that. So now on to round 2.
Nominating that for early worst transition of 2023.
I don't give a shit. We're under an hour. Let's make it under an hour.
I don't think we've ever done that. Let's see if we can do it. We will go ahead and we'll go right into Divisional Round Preview Gambling Corner. We'll go first up. Jacksonville Jaguars versus Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are obviously at home and obviously favored by 8.5. Over under is 52.5. Now, obviously, these games, Nude, it's going to be a little bit more than who you like, who you love. Quick shootout. Give me a little bit of who the fuck you like and who the fuck you love.
Chiefs and the over, because I don't think. Obvious pick, but Trevor Lawrence's first road game in the playoffs, it's not going to happen again, where if he throws 4 interceptions, I promise you Patrick Mahomes will make sure you pay for it. And that's it. That's the only reason. And I think they're just going to be in a shootout.
Yeah, Newt and Joe on the same page here. again, Trevor Lawrence magic runs out. It's a little too big for his britches. He's not quite Batman yet. He's still in his training with Raja Ghul. How big of a nerd are you, Nude? I can tell you look a little lost. He's still training with Raja Ghul.
I know what you're doing. Yeah.
To defeat
Batman.
Patrick Mahomes. It's like, again, he went ahead and that's great. He defeated Scarecrow. Good job, Trevor Lawrence. You defeated Scarecrow. No one knows who the fuck Scarecrow is. You're not ready for the Joker yet. You're not ready. Next up, we had the New York Giants. Heavy superhero references for me. Probably because pre-show you started talking about.
I was about to say, yeah.
Never do the superhero references. Next up, Giants versus Eagles in a battle of Gotham versus the Birds. Okay, I'll stop. So I apologize. I almost want you to edit that out. Eagles are at home. Eagles are at home -7.5. Over under is 48.5. Nude, who the fuck you like, who the fuck you love, and why? Nude, I'll ask you again, who the fuck do you like, who the fuck do you love, and why? Nude, are you still with me? I currently don't have you. I can't hear you. Over under 48.5. Who the fuck do you like? Who the fuck do you love? As you turn on your light over there.
Give me the Eagles. Oh no, not the Eagles. Give me the Giants to cover because I think the Eagles win by 3, and then the under.
And the under. Nude and Joe almost on the same page here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the over. Giants do cover. Next up, we have what we have already dubbed our game of the week, at least what Nude and Joe thinks is going to be their game of the week. That is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Buffalo Bills.
Well, we already know we already know what you're picking. We already know what I'm picking because one's your Super Bowl champion and one is my AFC representative in the AFC Championship game. So let's just say we picked those teams to cover, and I just got the over. What do you have, the over or the under?
We'll go Nude and Joe on the same page, moving right along.
That was easy.
Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, again, we're all going to pick the 49ers over-under.
Over. I think it's all over.
I'm huge under. Huge under.
Huge under.
I think it's 21-7. 21-7.
21-7. And I didn't miss anything, right?
No, you're good. So,
beautiful.
Boys,
that's our divisional round preview.
Thank you guys for rocking with us. We are the face of the franchise.
What we didn't talk about? We didn't give ourselves our flowers. We need to get better at doing that. We didn't give ourselves our flowers before you exit out. 5-1, both Nude and Joe so far on the wild card weekend. Brush the dirt off your shoulders, yada yada yada. Feel pretty good.
One of us is gonna have an L because I picked the Bills, he picked the Bengals in our bracket, so we'll see. But I think we both picked the Eagles, both picked the Chiefs, and we both pick the 49ers. So
we are literally identical
except for one thing.
Except for Bengals Bills.
So if Bengals lose, you're for sure owing me $100.
$1 billion%.
Yeah, because that's your Super Bowl pick.
$1 billion. Essentially, unless
if they lose to either this week or next week, who we assume would be the Chiefs, you owe me $100.
Right. They go to the Super Bowl, you owe me $100.
But yeah, exactly. If they go to the Super Bowl, you win. Yeah, exactly. You just need them to get there. $300. But yeah, no, 100. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to us. Please download, like, and subscribe on all your sites such as Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. We're all over the place. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for all Four Corners Radio podcasts such as ours. Just shout out to our sponsors, Eyesight Mobile Eyewear Company, the eyesight company that comes to you. Follow them on IG. We are tagging them on all our posts and our stories. Follow them for their new line. Get some sunglasses. Get whatever you need. Follow Stuck Up Clothing Co. Follow them on Instagram and all their new stuff and their website. Finest fashion money can buy.
Winter
and
drops
it's
are
also
coming, baby.
New drops are coming. Miami local now, so let's ride. As well as Seduction Flight Checks. Follow her on her IG. All systems go to get everything you need done
I like the
for this
the voice
beautiful.
there a little bit.
You know that. You know I'm on my shit right now. I'm not missing shit. And
Damn right,
just
damn
enjoy
right,
it,
baby.
baby.
Hot with the ads now.
That I am the Pharaoh.
Hot
That is Lil Joe.
bad.
Stay breezy, stay easy, one love.
Fuck the Cowboys. I just feel like saying that. Yeah, fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys.
I'm with you. I actually am with him on that. I thought it was a good game.